5 drives, 0 points for the Steelers, with Russell Wilson's 5 drives in tonight's 9-3 loss to the Buffalo Bills in the team's second preseason game. My name is Mark Bergin. Welcome into the Bleav in Steelers postgame show. Before we get too far along, I want to mention today's presenting sponsor of the Bleav in Steelers show is BetOnline.ag. Football is here, and if you want to get in on the action, BetOnline.ag is the place to do it. You can use our promo code Bleav. That's BLEAV. You can see that on your screen right now to get in on the action. Head over to BetOnline.ag to get started. BetOnline, the game starts here. The Steelers tonight, 3 points, and that's tough. And Russell Wilson, though, 5 drives, no points. And we saw last preseason, Kenny Pickett, 5 drives, 5 touchdowns. It was hard to evaluate Russell Wilson tonight because Broderick Jones at right tackle got worked by Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau, we really liked as an edge rusher coming out of Miami a few years back. And I don't know if he's not accustomed to playing right tackle because he's supposed to be the team starting left tackle. Troy Fautanu gets hurt. So they say, hey, Dan Moore Jr. is going to start at left tackle. Broderick will move you back over to right tackle, where you played a season ago. And I've read that he's got some sort of upper body injury to where his punch isn't quite what it is off the line of scrimmage. He got work today. And to me, it's the muscle memory of maybe he's more accustomed to playing left tackle at this point for how they've used him in preseason, in training camp, during practices. And it's the muscle memory. You flip over to the other side and your technique's going to be all goofed up because you're used to doing the opposite with your feet and your upper body and what you need to do to be able to keep a quarterback upright. And so for me, it was tough to evaluate Russell Wilson effectively. He played most of the first half because Russ didn't really have much time to throw. So then you bring in Justin Fields, whose scrambling ability can kind of help negate the issues that you'd have up front because Broderick Jones just got worked tonight. It's just the truth. But Fields didn't look good either, and there's a few reads I'll discuss. But I want to talk about Russell Wilson right now, and then we'll move into Fields and some of my other thoughts from this game. Let me go to the box score really quickly. Russell Wilson finishes 8 of 10, 47 yards in the first half. Again, 5 drives, no touchdowns. I know Chris Boswell missed a field goal. And there's more left to be desired. And I'm not going to be very outcome oriented just because what we saw a year ago in the preseason had no translation to the regular season. But there's some things that this offense needs to get sorted out and quickly. Because the team did have the opportunities. Like, you can understand the scheme that's there. But if you can't protect Russell Wilson, it got to the point where it's like, just get him out of the game. I am glad they gave Broderick Jones an extended run to try to get things right. But that, to me, is why it was hard to evaluate Wilson tonight, because Greg Rousseau, I just thought, won that battle, won that one-on-one matchup on multiple plays. Is that the muscle memory? Is that because the Steelers have moved him around? Is he more accustomed to playing on the left side than the right side? Is Rousseau just a more talented player? A lot of questions after tonight's game with Broderick Jones at the right tackle position. Do you try to move him back over to left tackle? How quickly can you get Troy Fautanu back? These are questions that are going through my brain of things that will still have relevance come week 1 of the regular season when you're playing the Atlanta Falcons. And that's what I saw in tonight's game. A lot of people checking in already. And it was a cause for concern because you score 3 points in the game, you're not going to win very many. An absolute slugfest for tonight's game. I see a lot of people in the comments. I will get to those after I kind of finish my thoughts. You have the ability to leave a super comment too. So if you want to support myself and the Bleav in Steelers show, if there's a super comment, we'll bring your comment on the screen. I like to bring some of the best ones as well. So if you want to support Bleav in Steelers, feel free to do that. Justin Fields, there were two opportunities he had to score. One was on the 4th down read option play where if he gives the ball to the running back, it's likely a touchdown. Predetermined that he's going to keep it, try to be the hero. That was predetermined. make the read of what the defense is giving you. And I thought that Justin Fields was trying to play backyard football. His best ability is to scramble the ball. And I understand why Arthur Smith and the Steelers aren't going to have many designed runs for him in the preseason. You don't want to get him hurt. You don't want to show other defenses what you can do. Running the ball is by far what Justin Fields does best. So I thought they did more of that in the second half, but that the two opportunities where the Steelers had chances to score, that fourth down play where he didn't give the ball to the back and he kept it and got stuffed, and then the overthrow of TJ Luther for a touchdown and went one-on-one coverage, that's a gotta-have-it play. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of surprised that Fields played the entire second half considering he's been an NFL starter. He was a first-round pick. I know what Justin Fields can do with the ball in his hands. So I would have gone to the third stringer. At that point, I would have gone to Kyle Allen because I know what Fields could do. And at a certain point, too, it's like he's just going to get injured. I know you kind of have to get into football shape and everything, but there were opportunities for the Steelers to score, and they did not do that. And I thought both quarterbacks didn't play particularly well. You've been in quarterback purgatory now for years, dating back to Big Ben. And on the stat sheet, it doesn't look terrible. 11 of 17, 92 yards, had a sack, 8 carries, 42 yards for Fields. As long was a 20-yard run. And I did think he brought a spark for the Steelers on that quarterback run that he had that led to the Steelers' only score of the game, a field goal before the end of the first half. So you see what he can do with not a lot of clock. But at the end of the game, and I know he's playing with second, third, fourth string players, can't lead the Steelers down for a game-tying score, and then the extra point would be the go-ahead score. But that's what I saw from Fields in that he was playing backyard football, and he was playing not within the game plan. What happens when the Steelers draw up a game plan to be able to utilize his running ability, right? Again, it's the preseason. You're going to be very, very vanilla in what you do. You don't want to show other teams some of the things that you can scheme up to force defenses to play an honest 11 on 11. And I thought he was trying to play and do too much because he got out of what the Steelers were trying to do offensively, again, which is done intentionally for how everything's schemed up. It's the preseason. It's the preseason. So, again, I want to see him hit on a long downfield pass. I want to see him make the right read on a read option play, because that's what he's supposed to do. And again, he's a first-round pick, and that's why the Steelers trade for him for the Bears with the Bears. But that's what I saw from Justin Fields. My biggest point of concern after this game is this. Jaylen Warren's hamstring injury. What is the severity of that? That is my biggest point of concern for the Pittsburgh Steelers coming out of this game. It's the same injury that Cordero Patterson's been dealing with throughout camp. Jonathan Ward left practice last week with this as well. Hamstring injuries going around the Steelers' backfield. Jaylen Warren's a guy you're going to need to rely on come the regular season. That 1-2 punch with Najee Harris, particularly when you've got Geroge Pickens and Pat Freiermuth in the passing game. Maybe Van Jefferson can do some stuff. Jaylen Warren's going to be one of your most important offensive players. I do not need to see him against the Lions in the final preseason game on Saturday. I don't need to see him. Make sure his hamstring is right for the regular season, because his ability to help have that 1-2 punch with Najee Harrison to keep Najee fresh, Najee in a contract season, yes, ride the hot hand in the backfield, but this is someone you absolutely rely upon. The extent of his injury, keep your eye on that. Left after the hamstring injury, did not return. Payton Wilson left the game, evaluated for a concussion as well. Keep an eye on that. I know what both of those players can do when they're on the field. So not a lot of concern there from either player, but in terms of their abilities, keep an eye on how severe those injuries are. Hopefully they can get back on the field as quickly as possible. I thought that was huge. Thought that was absolutely huge. Again, Justin Fields' best ability is his mobility. Something else I noticed off the edge in the first half. TJ Watt didn't play. Cam Hayward didn't play. But Nick Herbig flies off the edge. I get really excited about this because you've got Watt, Highsmith, and Herbig. It's going to be tough to keep Nick Herbig off the field. I love TJ Watt. I love Alex Highsmith. But this guy just consistently makes plays with his opportunities. I thought that was a bright spot for the Steelers. I thought defensively the Steelers played an outstanding game. Both of these offenses struggled. Mitch Trubisky in the first half left the game with a knee injury, did not return in the second quarter. I thought the Steelers held him in check. Cameron Johnston. The Steelers finally have a good punter. After several years of struggles with Presley Harvin III, seems like they've got Cameron Johnston booming the ball down the field, flipping the field. It's the guy who was a punter. I thought he was terrific tonight for the Steelers. I thought other than the one drive Fields led the Steelers down to points, I thought he was the best offensive player as the punter. It was that brutal to watch tonight for the Steelers in the preseason. Just dreadful offense. But Cameron Johnston, 5 first-half punts, an average of 56.8 yards, long of 65, 2 inside the 20. Well done, my friend. Well done. I thought he had a good game tonight, and I thought that was a bright spot for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Also in the first half, that downfield pass to Geroge Pickens along the sidelines almost brought it in. Not quite. The Steelers challenged it. They, of course, did not win, but Geroge Pickens doing Geroge Pickens things. Hopefully, he can develop that connection with Russell Wilson come week 1, assuming that Russ will, in fact, be the starter. Let me see what else we have here. Steelers leading tackler on defense. Mark Robinson, the linebacker, getting in the mix. Herbig as well, 6 tackles, 3 solo, 1.5 sacks, a TFL. Nick Herbig for me. It's going to be tough. Like, so do you take Highsmith or Watt off the field? But you can keep those guys fresh. He did really well a year ago. Marcus Golden a year ago as well. Golden retires after coming back to the team. But Nick Herbig, that guy seems to be the truth. I really liked what I saw from him tonight in tonight's game. And what he's done with his opportunities is that guy just makes plays consistently. Let's get to the chat and check in with some people. Jay saying Broderick played horrible at right tackle. Yes, I'm with you there. Did not have a good game tonight. Does this continue? What happens when Fautanu comes back? Is there a world where Dan Moore Jr. and Troy Fautanu could start? I wouldn't go quite that far, but what is the reasoning for this? Is it the muscle memory? Is it the poor technique? Is it he's more accustomed to playing on the left side now? A lot of questions here. Jay, thank you for checking in. The search for the quarterback continues. Stop playing O-line out of position. If you could summarize this whole podcast maybe in 2 sentences, that is Teresa. Teresa, thank you for checking in. Spot on analysis there. Appreciate your comments. Tony saying Russ did not look good at all. Justin looked better. Is it because Broderick on the right side? Yep. Broderick Jones, go pop on the tape. And it wasn't just 1 sack consistently where it's like he's getting pushed back at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. Temple saying maybe the preseason pretends to 17-0. I love the optimism for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I absolutely love it. Kevin saying bad injuries tonight. I'm really worried about this team. Kevin, thanks for checking in. Don't take too much from the outcomes. We saw that a year ago where we're flying high and thinking that Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada are going to get the offense back right. I'm not too worried about the outcomes. It is what my eyes are telling me, though, of how does this translate. Was not great tonight. Not a great debut. Not what maybe you expected for Russell Wilson entering his 13th season as an NFL quarterback. But again, hard to see what he was doing because he doesn't have that same mobility that he had earlier on in his career. But if Broderick Jones' right tackle is consistently getting beat, that's something too in a regular season game. You're giving him help with the chip off the edge. At the same time, too, he's trying to go one-on-one with Greg Rousseau. I know Von Miller's in the mix for the Bills as well. So you have your work cut out for you off the edge. And look, this is a Bills team that's won 4 consecutive AFC East titles. This is a very good team in the AFC. This is a team that knocked off the Steelers in the playoffs last season. Kevin saying, we seriously have a problem with the O-line. They're young. And that's another thing, too, is Zach Frazier's going to be your starter now because Nate Herbig has a serious shoulder injury. Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reporting that before the start of this game, that Frazier's going to be the starter moving forward. So you're starting Broderick Jones, yes, as a first-round pick, but as a second-year player, still developing. And if you found his quote a few weeks back where it's like, how are you doing at the starting left tackle? He's like, well, now I have to move back to the right side. And I'm a little bit, I'm paraphrasing here, but saying he was a little bit overwhelmed to do that. So he's a second-year player. Frazier's a rookie. Yes, Troy Fautanu, second-round pick. Troy Fautanu is your first-round pick, rookie. It's a young line. It takes time to gel and develop that continuity, especially with young players. I'm not making excuses. This is the reality of the NFL. But the best way to learn is to play. And with a young line, too, okay, what's the best way to actually get them acclimated? It's to run the ball. What do you think Arthur Smith's going to try to do week 1 against his former team, the Falcons? I think it's going to be run heavy, set up the play action pass to where you don't have to ask your quarterback to do all that much. This is why I love Steelers fans. Brian saying start trading the young offensive line. No, because then who are you going to play? Who are you going to put in? I'm not going to overreact too much there. I do want to see what the Steelers do with Broderick Jones. How quickly can Troy Fautanu get back? Because once you put Fautanu back at right tackle, is Broderick more comfortable at the left side? But Broderick Jones, when he played a season ago, was playing right tackle and Dan Moore Jr. was your left tackle. And at this point, too, Dan Moore Jr. is probably very accustomed to playing left tackle. Yes, not at the ability that you'd like. That's why you draft offensive tackles in the first. Sorry about that. Back. And Broderick played right tackle last year. So that's your point of frustration, is that Broderick played tackle. Brian checking in. This is going to be the last comment I get to. Love all the comments coming in saying that QB1 is Allen. Kyle Allen did not play tonight. That's a funny way to wrap here. This is the Bleav in Steelers postgame show. My name's Mark Bergin. Thank you for all of you checking in. We'll see. I'm not going to overreact too much after a preseason game. I promise you that. We'll be back this week. Few guests lined up here on the Bleav in Steelers show. Think you'll want to tune in. Monday's episode is going to be awesome. I can promise you that. And then Saturday, the Steelers preseason wraps up against the Detroit Lions as this team finalizes its roster. And then you've got week 1 against the Atlanta Falcons. So regular season's coming up. Summer's almost over. I'll go ahead and sign off. If you enjoyed this and you're not already subscribed on YouTube, please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button on Apple and Spotify. 5 stars and 5 stars only. Thanks to the presenting sponsor, BetOnline.ag. I want to thank all the listeners and the viewers. Thanks for making me a part of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Steelers fall to the Bills 9-3. Second preseason game. We'll see what the Steelers do this coming week against the Lions. And again, a lot of good guests lined up on Bleav in Steelers, so make sure you're subscribed to this feed. My name's Mark Bergin. Hope all of you have fantastic evenings, rest of your nights, rest of your weekends. Signing off here. I'll see you later this week. Take care. So long, everybody.